Welcome to the Black Script Storytellers. My name is Kevin Marable, and today our guest is a writer, director, producer, and casting powerhouse whose voice is reshaping the landscape of independent film. From the stage to the screen, she's built a career rooted in authenticity, culture, and bold storytelling. Her latest project, the new zombie thriller Urban Flesh Eaters, is available to stream right now on TUBI. She's a creator, carving her own lane and bringing audiences with her every step of the way. We have with us none other than Lynette J. Blackwell. Lynette, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. Now, that was a great intro for me. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, don't worry, I'll give you your money. I owe you later for that. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Kevin. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to give people their flowers and like to, kind of highlight a little bit about who you are and what it is that you do, just to let the audience know, where you're coming from and who they're watching today. So um, I always like to lead with that and give you your flowers and give you some credit in the beginning. Um,
Appreciate it.
But there's always, as always, in every interview, I like to start off with a very simple question, but some people might find it a little difficult to answer. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
That question is, who is Lynette J. Blackwell?
Okay, I love that question. So Lynette J. Blackwell is a young woman. Well, I'm not as young anymore, but from born in Harlem,
Hmm.
raised in the Bronx, New York. Grew up not, thinking I was going to be this dancer extraordinaire. Was dancing, making up dances for people, had dance troupes and everything, and then ended up going to school to be a doctor.
Mm,
And then found out I didn't like science that much. So I got a biology degree and then was like, this is not for me.
hmm.
Ended up in finance for 12 years, selling mutual funds and annuities.
Wow.
Love that for a moment. But I'm a Gemini
Hmm.
and we need something different all the time. And I needed something different. And it's every time I mastered something at work, I was bored.
Hmm.
And I was like, okay, this is not for me either. And not realizing that all these years when I was writing in school and getting A's and on papers that I was actually going to enjoy being a writer. I thought if you asked anybody back in the days what I was going to do, it was going to be a dancer.
Wow.
That's what I was going to do. I was dancing and teaching dance, like I said, and that was my goal. But I went to school because I was like, "Ooh, there's no career in dancing." And now look,
Right. Yes.
now look. I could have kept dancing and I would have been on tour with Beyonce,
Right.
all the
Yeah.
single ladies and stuff, doing
Right.
some of that. But yeah, but it's okay.
It's all good. It's all good. That's a whole different lane, being a choreographer and a dancer and teaching other people to dance and being in sync and on time and all of that. That it takes a lot. It's a lot of effort.
Yeah.
But in that process of you loving dance and loving to teach dance and all of that good stuff, you are obviously you were learning that and discovering that you were an entertainer at heart. You like to
Hmm.
entertain, you like to showcase your talent, and you
Yeah.
had talent in various arenas. Obviously, you were going to be a doctor, then you got into finance, and then you were a dancer, but you ultimately learned that you have this unique writing ability. uh,
Yeah.
so at what point did you learn that you had interest in wanting to write, direct, and produce?
Well, at first, for years, I was chasing the dollar. That's why school for a doctor came into play. Like I said, you know what, plan A, make some money. I can still do plan B. Not realizing that once you get older, you can't do the same thing that you were doing. The dancing takes a lot more energy that you don't have. And, then life happens. And
Right.
I ended up having my second child. I got married.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing now. Like I'm a banker, and I didn't think about writing at all. I've always been a creative. That's where dancing comes in. But writing was definitely at the bottom of the list for me. It wasn't until I was going through a divorce.
Mhm.
I was in church, heavily in church, evangelist, prayer warrior, all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I was sitting in a service, and I heard in my ear from God the word unequally yoked. I wrote it down in a book, and then I started writing a play.
Wow.
And that's when I got into writing. That was like 2008. And to help me get through what I was going through as far as the divorce, I would just write. And it took away the pain because it brought me into this whole different world
Hmm.
that I had never discovered. Like when I was writing in school, it wasn't more creative, it was more technical, right?
Right.
Papers and things like that. But this side of writing just allowed me to be free
Hmm.
and to, go away from the troubles. And I just kept writing the play, and then I produced it, put it on stage, and I was like, I really like this. And I kept doing a play. We did it. I did it all a bunch of places in New York and Harlem, Long Island,
Uh-huh.
took it to Philly,
Hmm.
Atlanta, Alabama. And then COVID hit in 2019,
Right.
and I was like, okay, we're gonna have to pause on this. I started getting really into my writing as far as film. I
Hmm.
had started a film. I did a short film back in 2017 that won some awards
Hmm.
and in film festivals. But I said I wanted to take my writing to another level, so I joined Tressa Azarel Smallwood's mentorship in 2020, a week before the pandemic.
Okay. So we're gonna pause right there.
Okay.
We're gonna backtrack just a little bit because
Okay.
I want to know when you were in church and you came up with the idea or the thought of unequally yoked, and you wrote it down in your book, and then from there you began to write your play.
Hmm.
Did you know how to write a play the correct way, the structure, all of that, or were you just writing your ideas on paper and then later you figured out how to format it?
I was writing this play in Word doc. So no, I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. I just knew the ideas were there, and I was writing these characters. I didn't write a character arc, anything. I just was writing dialogue,
Okay.
and they just came together, and I had no idea. It's funny because when I joined Tressa's mentorship, I had the short play, the short film that already won awards. So I'm like, yeah, I got this. I had a script
Uh-huh.
that was already in a rom com. I walked into her thing like, yes, I want to be
Right.
a writer extraordinaire. I got this. And then I got in her class, and I was like, oh,
You,
it's a
you
beat sheet.
yeah, you realize like
Yeah.
it's a whole nother world. It's a different.
Yes. And my script, I went back to my script that I had that I thought was bomb. And I was like, this is trash. You know what I mean?
Really?
Because yeah, because the formatting was off.
Okay.
At that time I was using Caltex. I wasn't using Final Draft. I
Got it.
was going to cheap
Right.
route.
Right.
And I thought I had it. And it was like all this description, all this action I wrote. It just didn't, a lot of stuff didn't make sense.
Mm.
But to me it did because that's what I thought I knew.
Right.
But getting in her class, now I've been in her class now up to this date for 5 years because I teach also in her class. I'm one of her mentors. I teach other screenwriters to write.
Look at that. Look at that.
Look at that, because I learned so much beat sheet treatment, character development, character art, and I'm just sitting there like a sponge learning the business side,
Hmm.
and it's just all coming together. So now it's different, but then
Right.
I thought it was good, but now that I know in hindsight, it's like, yeah, girl,
So
like.
each play that you wrote, roughly how many pages do you think it was before you figured out how to format it correctly?
Well, I wrote one play,
Okay.
and that
Oh,
play was, it should have been 2 hours and 15 minutes with intermission. It was like 3 hours. So it was long. It was long. And when I first wrote it, it was a inspirational play. It has comedy because I am a comedic writer. I love comedy, right?
mhm.
And it was a comedic play, and it was dragging though because there was so much messaging in it, and it was entertaining, but it was so much messaging, so I had to go back, revamp it, and make it more entertaining,
Mhm.
and bring it down to 2 hours with the 15-minute intermission.
Right.
So over the years, that's what I did. I just worked on it, kept working on it, just like researching, watching Tyler Perry plays because he was my idol.
Mhm.
And then I ended up getting a mentor in Mr. Shelley Garrett from Beauty Shop. He mentored me right before he passed away.
Yeah.
And he directed my play in 2017 in Atlanta.
Man. Yeah, that's amazing. Especially
Thank you.
going from, not having any background knowledge of writing plays. You write your first play, and then you're able to make it happen. And not
Hmm.
only that, you get one of the legends to be able to direct it.
Yeah.
So I can see where, in your head you're like, I got this, I got everything down, I
Yes.
everything figured out because you're already having success in the playwright world and doing theater, but now you want to transfer that into doing TV and film. So
Hmm.
when you got into Tressa's class, what was one of the first things that made you realize like I needed to make some changes?
Well, and just remember that I had a short film that won awards.
That too,
So
yes, that
yeah,
too,
so
yeah.
I'm thinking I got this. And
Right.
then I get in her class and she's talking about beat sheets. And I'm like, what is a beat sheet?
Yeah.
Now I'm a writer and I don't know what a beat sheet is. Never heard of it.
Mhm.
Didn't know how to write a treatment.
Mhm.
Didn't know how to write a log line. Well, I did because my play had a log line,
Mhm.
but it wasn't the best log line. Could have been better because didn't know how to write a synopsis. You know, and so I learned I had to really take myself out of it and say, hey, you don't know everything you thought you knew.
Right.
And now sit as a student
Right.
and learn all these things and then go back and rework everything I did. So going back and doing the beat sheet for this rom-com now that didn't have a beat sheet
Mhm.
and having to revise the whole script. And so those are the things that I learned that I didn't really know everything that I thought I knew. And YouTube University
Yeah.
helped, but it wasn't enough because I almost didn't join the mentorship. Because that January, I had told God, I want to move to the next level. What do I need to do? And
Mhm.
then I went, I saw her summit on my timeline. I didn't know Tressa. I didn't know anybody at the summit.
Right.
And I said, I'm just gonna go. It's only 2 hours down the road. I put a suitcase in my car,
Mhm.
drove down. I said, I didn't even get a hotel room because I said, this is janky. I'm turning around, I'm going home. Because things be janky sometimes. So I
Right.
go to this place, I pay, I get there, and it's amazing the first day.
Mhm.
So that day, the hotel where she was hosting it, I got a hotel room, stayed, and went for Sunday. Now I'm sitting in this room where they're now pitching this mentorship, and I'm sitting there like my brain just turns off because now you're telling money. I gotta pay you to teach me? Mm-mm. No, ma'am, no, sir.
Right.
Right? But then God was like, "What did you tell me? You told me you wanted to do, you wanted the next level, and you would do whatever you needed to do." So
Right.
I turned my brain back on,
Mhm.
listened,
Mhm.
and then took out my card and made the first payment.
Mm.
And just was like, this is what I'm doing. And COVID hits. And then I'm like, my husband is like, oh, we're not paying for this. I'm like, we are paying for this. Every month for 3 months, he was like, we're not paying for this. I'm like, we are.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then finally he just said, okay. And then that was March. By December, I made our money back that
Wow.
we paid for it. And we took my 5 figures on a mentorship. And I made the money back with my first I got into the BT Her initiative, my script
Mhm. And
from what I learned in the class.
and so that allowed you to make the money back that you had invested in yourself through Trust's class.
Yes.
Wow.
That was the first of many.
Yeah. So when you did the BET Her project, was that something that you were able to accomplish through Tressa, or did you do that on your own?
It was through Tressa. Tressa had a relationship with BET,
Mhm.
and they were looking. It wasn't just with her. They were looking for scripts. Well, they were looking for treatments
Mhm.
for the BET Her. This was the second year they did it. Tressa did the first year as a producer,
Right.
and so it wasn't guaranteed that you got in. You had to have a good treatment.
Mhm.
And now, mind you, this treatment is for a short film. It's not for a full feature. So you're now writing I think it was 2, 3 pages of a treatment other than, in putting summarizing all of this because it's only about 18 pages
Right.
of a script.
Mhm.
But I learned so much from that time with her that I was able to do it. And my script, along with another one of another mentee got in that year.
Yeah. That's dope. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And just how, not how quickly, because obviously everything takes time, and a lot of investing, a lot of focus, a lot of, you had to make a lot of changes within your process, to get to where you were at that point. um and I can imagine, that not everybody gets there as quickly as you did.
Mm-hmm.
But I can hear and tell your level of dedication and determination that you were determined to get there and to make it happen. This is
Yeah.
mhm,
Can I just say to you, when I was doing my play, I wasn't making at that time, I wasn't banking in banking anymore. I had left banking because the hours had become crazy.
mhm,
And I was working, think I was working as a 1099 employee. Or maybe it was Geico. I can't remember at the time. And I started putting my play up. I wasn't making that much money, but I was putting so much money into this play because I believed in it. And I mean, at times when after I paid everyone, I didn't sometimes have enough money to get it back across the bridge to go home,
wow,
you know.
mhm,
But I was determined to make it work. I don't care how many times I put it up. I was like, I believe in this play. I believe in what God has given me,
mhm,
and it's going to work
mhm,
itself out.
mhm.
So that's always been my level of dedication. I'm very tenacious. If somebody, especially if you tell me I can't do something, I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
find a way to do it.
right.
So, you know,
Yeah, that puts the fuel in the fire.
yeah,
Yeah, you got to definitely not necessarily do it for them, but to do it for you, to prove to yourself first and foremost, and to show that what you thought in your mind and in your head and that you believed is real and is true.
yeah,
You know,
mm-hmm, definitely,
yeah, I understand that completely. Being a creative myself and being in the space that I'm in, it takes a lot. There's a lot that goes into showing up each and every single day, even when you don't feel like
mm-hmm,
it. You still got to show up. You still got to do the work, and
yeah.
you know, at the end of the road that there's a goal that you're trying to get to, and you just got to keep going in order to get to that goal. So, I,
Yeah, and I would tell people don't go if you're in it for the money,
mhm,
don't do it because the money's not going to. So, as I told you, I made our money back,
mhm,
at the end of the year, but it's not always like that,
right,
And there's a lot of times I went and worked on sets that I didn't get paid to work on
mhm,
because I just wanted the knowledge and I just wanted to be in the environment so I can learn. And I've been on so many sets that I've learned enough that when it was time for me to produce my first film, I knew what to do.
mhm,
So I just tell people don't do it for the glitz and the glam. You see the end result. You see the red carpets. You see the film and the billboards, and the film is on, a platform. But you don't know what that middle's like,
right. What it took, yeah,
what it took
yes,
to take you out sometimes.
yeah, and I'm glad that you said that because it's not, again, to your point, it's not all about the money. Um,
Hmm.
money will come at some point if as long as if you continue to work at it, the money will come. But the true value comes in the education and the knowledge and
Yep.
having the access and creating those relationships and networking. Um, that's more valuable than the money. That's what you need to get to the money. So,
Yeah.
one takes care of the other. And so you have to look at it in a different way. And a lot of people like to look at it like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get paid. And if they don't get paid, then they stray away from it, um, because they didn't get that instant gratification,
Right.
not realizing the real gratification was you got through the door. You're in this space. You're able to watch,
Hmm.
to shadow, and to learn and to soak up everything like a sponge. And eventually things will, take place the way it's supposed to.
Yes. Amen.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you said that because a lot of people don't see it that way. And you just have to remain dedicated. You got to keep the faith. You got to, one track mind, laser focus. And
Yep. Yep. And celebrate every win. You know what I mean? Some people wait till that end, you get to that end result, whatever it is. Okay, I got my movie up. But there's so much celebration in between.
right.
The fact that you get the script written,
Mhm.
if you're a writer, that's a celebration in itself. The fact that you get to pre-production and now you've onboarded your crew.
Yeah.
The fact that you filmed it, that's a huge accomplishment.
Hmm.
Then the editing and the post-production, all of those are wins.
Hmm.
Don't wait until you get it on a platform to now celebrate. Because I used to say all the time with my play, even if I didn't fill up every seat, I put it up. I paid for it to go up. I didn't have a machine behind me.
Right.
So I'm celebrating that win.
Right.
You know, I am successful because I did that. Because a lot of people can't say that they've been able to do it because they don't have the oomph. It's like I'm scared,
Mhm.
you know, but I'm always jumping in with 2 feet
Mhm.
because I can't just put a toe in,
Right.
you know, because if I lose, I lose. You know what I mean? What is it going to kill? As long as it doesn't kill you,
Mhm.
you know,
You
you
haven't
can.
lost.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, you might cry, and I've cried a lot,
Mhm.
you know, with losses. You
Mhm.
know, when people didn't show up for my plays, and I cried.
Mhm.
But I always got up and I just had to sit down and say, okay, what went wrong? What do I need to change? And sometimes it was people,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not even that what went wrong. Maybe it's God, getting you to the point to where you're not necessarily accepting or understanding the no's or the downfalls, but you come out on the other side stronger from all of those, all of the what we consider losses in
Hmm.
the beginning. And then once we start to get to the wins, we learn to appreciate that much more because everything that we've endured to get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I also believe that everything ain't for everybody, right?
Right.
So sometimes God is going to put you in a position where he has to make you uncomfortable
Hmm.
so that you get rid of certain things so you can move forward because he's not looking to bless you in a mess. He's not looking to bless you and everybody that's connected to you because everybody that's connected to you can't go on this full journey.
Right.
They're there for a piece of the journey, a part of the journey, and then God is going to bring people that are smarter than you know, that have the know-how. Because when I was doing the play and stuff, I was begging, oh my goodness, begging people to help me. People out here that were doing it.
Hmm.
And I was like, I would pay you. I just need to learn how to do this, you know, and I know what it is. I don't want to say it, but it was always just that gatekeeping, and I don't
Yeah.
want to, you know,
Not
help
everybody.
you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness, why is it so? When I met Tressa, that's why I adore her so much. Because when I met her, even though she was my mentor and I was paying for her program, she's never a gatekeeper. You know what I mean? She's always open to, you know, if she has the resources and you show her that you are really serious about this, she's definitely going to extend,
Hmm.
you know, that to you. So it just makes it easier because this is a hard road to be on. You know what I mean? Trying to get to what we're doing now, like to get here,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's not, it takes a lot.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah.
there's no street signs. It's just a road. You,
Yes.
you don't know which
A
way
dirt road.
to turn. You don't know which way to turn. Anything. You just know you're
No.
that's it.
Just trying to figure it out.
Right. Right. Now, you wear many hats as writer, producer, director, even casting director. How did each role shape the way you approach the filmmaking?
They all work together.
Mm,
You know what I mean? When I met Tressa, all I kept saying was, I'm a writer, I'm a writer. That was the only word I knew. I was trying to, I didn't know anything else in production. I was trying to even think about it. And
uh-huh.
when I started working on her sets, the first job that I did was a casting associate, right?
Hmm.
And then I started getting thrown into other places, and then I became a production coordinator. And I can't even tell you how many times I've cried on set
Hmm.
because of just the craziness and the hard work and the hours and the stress and everything. And I used to always be like, what in the world? I'm like, God, I just want to be a writer. Why you got me doing all this?
Hmm.
But it all goes together. You know,
Right.
being a casting director made me understand the art of the actor and how important they are to your film. Not that I didn't know that before,
Hmm.
you know, but knowing how important picking the right people for your film is,
Right.
you know. And then being a production coordinator and a production manager and crafty. I mean, I've done a lot, right? It just taught me about the different departments
Mhm.
and how important they are, you
Right.
know.
Hmm.
But being in the nucleus of it all, which is the production office, working in production, you know, that part, like you see everything, you touch
I was gonna
everything.
say you have your hands in everything to make sure everything
Yes.
goes off without a hitch.
Oh my goodness. And so when you learn that, and then not only that, you learn being on set what you need for your story, how to write for budget.
Mhm.
Oh, I can write the hell of a project for budget now, because I've learned. And but knowing that I don't need that hallway.
Mhm.
Like you just have somebody walking down the hallway. I don't need that because now I gotta set it up. You gotta be lit.
Mhm.
It's a small company move to another location within the house
Mhm.
just to see somebody walk down the hall to go into another room. Nope. We're gonna see that person leave the room and we're gonna see them come in the room.
Right.
And that's it. So you learn how, and then, and I don't need all those characters,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
So you learn so many things. And I've sat on I think the set of God, what is the name of the movie? Country Way movie.
Oh,
With her. The scary one. Oh, I was gonna come to me. So I sat on that set and we
I
were
know which
running
one you're
behind.
talking about. I just can't think of the title.
I don't know why I can't think of the time.
Mhm.
It just slipped my mind. But it's gonna come to me. So I'm sitting on that set and we're behind time.
Mhm.
So now Tressa's like, I need you to sit here. I need you to figure out what we can cut because I knew the script. I read it because I casted the movie.
Mhm.
Um, Strange Love. Got it.
Okay, there we go.
So she's like, I need you to cut some stuff, some dialogue, whatever, but it still has to the continuity still needs to be there. So now I'm sitting on set in the middle of us filming, figuring it out,
Mhm. Mhm.
and making it work. So just all those things, I am so grateful to her for allowing me to be in those places,
Right.
you know, and learn because hands-on learning is the best learning, right? You learn in class, now you in the thick of it,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know.
And while it's actually happening, it's not a mock, a mock experience.
Hmm.
It's actually happening. So you actually have to deliver on what it is that you're learning at the same time.
Yeah. And then personalities, being able to deal with the different
Yes.
personalities, because, ooh, child, it's a lot of that on set, right? Because you're now bringing all these different people together,
Mhm.
all these creatives, and we're already crazy as creatives, right? Be bringing everybody together to harmonize, and it's not always like that.
Yeah.
So just learning how to deal with the different personalities.
Mm.
And also, I think just learning that I can do this. Like, when you're sitting down and thinking about it, and it's like when I sit down sometimes, like this year, for instance,
Mhm.
and the matter from May until like end of September, I was in flight mode. So I was doing so much and then realized how much I did. And when I sat down and was able to breathe, I was like, oh my goodness. I casted like 2 films. I got ready. I was a creative production producer, or maybe I casted 3 films. I just did so many things from that month and then got ready for the premiere of Urban Flesh Eaters and then and I was like, I can't believe, and then wrote a script to help write. I just was like, how the hell did I do all of that?
Yeah.
But I was just hyper focused
Mhm.
on what needed to be done, and I just put my head down and just did it.
Right.
And just when you sit back in hindsight, I'm like, I really was able to do those things, so you know that you can do all things
Mhm.
through God who strengthens you.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
and but also having the tools. I can't say that enough when I talk to other writers. Like, get the tools, get the knowledge. Don't just go out there and wing it because you don't want to lose money winging it. You go out there, learn the craft, learn it well,
Mhm.
and you will be successful.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. To your point, there's a lot of people out there winging it, and
Hmm.
a lot of us feel like we don't need the proper education to move forward. In some cases, people do get lucky. They find themselves in the right place, right time, right person, whatever
Hmm.
the case may be, and they're able to sneak through the door. But in order for you to maintain and have a consistent career and longevity and all of that good stuff, you're definitely going to need to know and learn the ropes and know how to navigate, know how to move about the room, write the script,
Yeah.
get things done, behind the scenes to make things happen. Um,
Yep. I agree.
otherwise you may be able to wing it for a little while, but eventually people will catch on to the fact that you're just winging it, right? So
Imposter syndrome.
yeah,
Don't want that.
right, right. So you mentioned earlier that you could write a budget, or you could figure out a budget within the film
Hmm.
easily. Did that come easy to you because you kind of have the finance background?
No, mm-mm, not at all.
Yeah.
It just definitely came from being in this mentorship because we learned the business side and also the screenwriting side,
Ah,
but just learning how to that locations and talent is going to eat up your budget.
right.
So if you got 20, 30 characters, okay, we're going to shave this down. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we ain't blowing up no, not for independent. When we get that bigger budget, but we ain't blowing up no houses.
Right.
We ain't doing, a whole bunch of different things. We ain't gonna have all these locations,
Right.
to shoot one scene in the location. Oh, that scene you had a scene in the restaurant and it's one scene.
Oh no.
We moving out to the street. We go to like exterior shot.
Right.
So,
No, and that makes sense, because I know a lot of indie filmmakers, a lot of small filmmakers, start off, utilizing one location or one room, it's a contained set,
mhm.
and I guess my question would that be somewhere where that you would consider a starting point for an emerging filmmaker, or would you much rather see something that had more than just one location?
I definitely think you can definitely do something with multiple locations because one thing you can do is repurpose like crazy, right?
Hmm.
So you can get a house to shoot in, and if you have like let's say two characters, two different houses, and just repurpose the house. So now there's a bedroom for that one character, there's another bedroom for the other character, or if it has multiple kitchens, or maybe only one is using the bathroom, but you could repurpose things. And when we shot um Trophy Wife.
Hmm.
Trophy Wife, we shot in this mansion in Maryland. And when I tell you, they repurposed the hell out of that mansion. That mansion had two kitchens. So we had, yeah, it had two living rooms.
Right.
So so the mother's house we did her living room there, and their house, the main character's house, they had this basement that had cement walls. So that became, so Kanae Kelly, who was our art designer, oh my goodness, the things that woman can do with her hands. And she, in her mind, she made this basement into the police station.
Oh,
You know?
wow.
Yeah. Then they had a swimming pool already. So we had the swimming pool. So we only left, that was our main location. We only left to do a company move, and we took a small, crew
Hmm.
to do, the office. And then we had like one other location. Other than that, like I would say 90% of the movie was shot in this one location. That was like the best time ever
Wow.
to as far as locations. When we shot Urban Flesh Eaters, I had a location in Atlanta that I had to actually revert from, and it cost me
Hmm.
more to get a new location a week before we shot because
Oh,
I found out the location did not have proper AC, which they told me they did. But when we started going
mm,
to the location and and doing these scouts, we kept saying, well, can you turn the AC? And they would turn it on. It was not hell, it was not getting cold.
wow.
And we had a lot of action in the film. We had special effects makeup. I was like, I'm not
Right.
doing this to my talent. Like I want them to be happy, walk away and say, I was on a great set,
Right.
especially because I'm learning from Tressa. Like I'm not gonna I don't want to do some okey doke set.
Right.
And I just went crazy trying to find something. We went to Woodstock, Georgia, and there was this place that had it was a building, it was an office, a co-op building, like with a co-working and stuff.
Hmm.
So we were going to turn these offices into apartments and stuff, but they ended up having two other buildings and right like a few feet away from each other.
Mm,
So they had a house, which was a house for lawyers that we were able to use as the apartments, you know. And then they had another building that we used as the exterior of the apartments inside the building, but exterior. And that was our company move. Boom, boom, boom.
wow.
Like maybe 50 feet away from each other,
Right.
house the talent in one space, and they all had their own space, and it just worked out. It was a blessing because we were a week, and our DP was like, maybe we need to push. I was like, oh no, because I already had paid for everything. We were done.
Right. Yeah.
Talent locked. Everything was locked. except for now locations. I was like, we are not pivoting. We are going to find a location. And I found that location and it was a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, you were
Cost
able
me a
to
little bit more, but
you were able to think quickly on your toes though, and figure it out and find a new location and make it all happen.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
that that's a skill within itself. Not everybody's able to do that. Not everybody's able to work under pressure either.
yeah. I mean, it's you gotta be able to work under pressure in this business.
Mhm.
You gotta be able to pivot if something goes wrong, because it will.
Right.
It will go wrong. It'll go wrong on set. It'll go wrong in pre-production, post-production, all of that. But you have to not get afraid, be afraid. Like I go off and I have my moment,
Mhm.
and then I'm back and I'm like, okay, what we doing? Let's do this, because you got to be a boss and you can't break down. And I think, and I really feel like being on all these sets taught me,
Mhm.
these things, and that's why it made me a better. It has made me a better filmmaker.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's good to go through all of those experiences, especially early on, so that way when they arise again, you know how to handle it, you know how to maintain it, you know how to bring it back down to a level to where it's manageable again.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, I'm ready for a bigger budget production. Like
Okay.
I'm ready. Well, let me just say this. I'm not talking about millions of dollars yet. I want
Okay.
to do at least a next budget up
Uh-huh.
film. And I want to do another one. I definitely want to produce more, and I want to do more producing of my own films. That's definitely something I love doing.
Okay, good, good. Now let's talk a little bit about Urban Flesh Eaters. It's currently on Tubi
And Apple TV
and Apple.
and Roku and Zuma.
Okay, nice, nice. So, for the folks who've never seen the film, can you just explain what Urban Flesh Eaters is about?
A black zombie movie. Okay. And and I'm not gonna say it's in the hood. It's called urban, but it's not in the hood. We want to make sure that we control the narrative
Right.
on this. So these are working class people. We are following a mother, Sen, who is our number one on the call sheet, Chantal Maurice, who just celebrated a birthday. Happy birthday.
Hey,
And huh?
I just said happy birthday.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. So happy birthday. She is amazing. I've worked with her since 2020, and I told her back in 2020 that I was going to write a film for her. And she said, okay, because she's looking at me, this girl who's on set as a casting, and like, oh, yeah, you're going to write me. And I was like, I'm going to write you a film. And then Urban Flesh Eaters came. So it's following a mother, Sin,
Mhm.
who she's a widower, and she has two children, and now she's going to move for a better life for her children. She's finally bought this house that she always wanted, her and her husband always wanted, but unfortunately he passed away before they can get there.
Mhm.
And before she can leave, her building is invaded by zombies.
Wow.
And now at some point she gets separated from her children, and now she is fighting, to get back to her children and save them.
Mhm.
And it's a horror thriller comedy.
Horror
So
thriller comedy.
yes,
Yeah.
it is comedic, because you can't have black people without being funny.
Right. No, that's very true, especially in those types of situations.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, they live in a building. We have all kind of characters, all kind of neighbors. You're gonna have some funny ones. So it's very entertaining, very intense.
Mhm.
Um, it's not like that gory slasher type of horror. It's contained. And we had some really great special effects with the zombies. It was our DP and director, Eric, well, EA Dotson was amazing
Mhm.
with the cast, and visually it looks amazing. I don't know if you got to see it. I'm not gonna put you on the spot, but
Not yet,
but
but I do plan on watching it for sure.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Yes,
But
I'll give you feedback as well once I see it.
yes, I always love feedback. But he shot it really so visually it looks good. It's written well, if I must say so myself, because I co-wrote it,
Right.
and it's acted really well. Like everything just came together. Every piece of the puzzle came together in this.
Nice. And so during the process of filming this, how long did it take for you to film from start to finish, from the time you started production to the time you guys wrapped?
10 days.
10 days. Nice. And within that 10 days, you were able to take care of everything. Did you go overtime, or was it scheduled for 10 days?
It was always scheduled for 10 days. We did 10 days. The only overtime we did was the hours. We were looking at 12-hour days. There were a couple of days, especially the last day that we went over into the wee hour. I think the last day we didn't get done until like 4 or 5 in the morning, but everybody was okay with it because it was our last day and we were shooting our most vulnerable scenes.
Mhm,
So it was very emotional, very heavy that day. But and we got through it.
mhm, mhm. Now, as far as the casting and
hmm
picking the cast and some of these emotional moments, what specifically were you looking for in each of the cast members to bring to the table for you to have picked them?
So I'm a casting director, as we know. I did not want to be the lead casting director on here because I had so many other jobs to do, but I did was a part of the process. So co-star coaching, which is Chantal's agency, which he teaches actors, was our casting company. And a lot of the people came from her roster of people that she teaches. They auditioned, but we did use Actors Access to get a lot of our talent.
Hmm.
So she did a lot of the grunt work, and then I just sat with her and went through, who I liked, who I didn't like. We had some Kim reads.
Hmm.
She fought for her people. I fought for some people. One of the biggest talents that we hired, so we have a character called Mr. Elmo, who is our janitor,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
And I named him after my sister's boyfriend. My sister had a boyfriend named Elmo that I absolutely loved. She never married him, but I loved this man to death. I thought he was my boyfriend when I was little. And so I named the character Mr. Elmo,
Uh-huh.
and he was a black man. I wrote it with actually Tone Loc in mind because we were thinking about Tone Loc for it at first.
Wow.
But then Mr. Elmo became this really pivotal character where he was going to be on set more days, and Tone Loc is on tour. So we was like, that's probably not going to work,
Hmm.
bringing him to Atlanta. So we put it out there, and I told Chantal, I said, you know what, open the ethnicity. Don't just do African American.
Hmm.
And she did. And we had this Caucasian man with this white beard
Hmm.
like pop up and she pushed for him to audition, and I'm like, I hope he can act because his look was just amazing.
Right.
When I tell you, he slayed that darn audition. So Mr. Elmore became a white man,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Who has, black adjacent.
Right.
So he's,
He's got some
yeah,
flavor, yeah.
yeah, so it's so funny because on set, he kept saying, well, when he called me one day, he was like, this was written for a black man, right? I said, yes. He's like, okay, no problem. So then we get on set, and there's one scene where he has to call one of the characters' wife a B, the B word.
Hmm.
Because he's telling Mr. Elmo that my wife's been bit and needs medical attention. He was like, well, where's your wife? And he's like, she's in our apartment. So he's supposed to say, well, leave that be where she's staying because she's most definitely a zombie, right? He didn't want to say it. So I'm sitting in front of this monitor now, and he's like, well, leave her where she is. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's messed up the first time. The second time he says it. So I was like, oh, hold up. So I went inside. I said, Mr. Elmo, the word is B. I don't cuss, but I told him, he was like, it's okay for me to say that? I said, yeah. He said it. He said he felt so liberated being able to say that. He felt so liberated, but he was so authentic in the role that when people started watching it, like his name came up every time as a favorite character
Wow.
because he was so hilarious and so authentic. And he was like, oh, he's coming to the cookout. Like he was so good.
Hmm. No,
So
yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm looking forward to watching it for sure. I just haven't had the chance to watch it this week, but I will definitely check it out, and I'm going to give you some feedback, let you know what I think. And is it just going to be? I know you said Tubi, Apple. You said Zumo
Zumo and Roku.
and Roku. Are you looking to expand it onto any other platforms?
I mean, if it gets picked up because it is in what's the name of that darn thing? Film Hub.
Oh, film.
Because we just got picked up. We initially got picked up by Apple.
Wow.
Yeah, and then Tubi, we went to Tubi,
Hmm.
and then Zuma and they picked up in the middle of October, like I think like the last week of October or something, they picked it up. So we're always looking for other platforms to pick it up, definitely. But now I'm sitting back like, because people ask me if they're part two, because the way we left it, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, oh, it definitely, I want to make a part two of this. I had so much fun making this movie, and it just came out so good. And I'm just like, I really want to kind of see what it is in this space because I never thought I would be in this type of space. I mean, I've written other thrillers after this,
Hmm.
you know, but I never thought I would be in this space because I love rom-coms so much and comedy and everything. But I absolutely love
Doing the
this
horror.
genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Because you get a chance to kind of play a little bit, and it's a little out of your, I don't know if it's a little out of your comfort zone or just a little out of the norm of what you normally write. So it makes it a little
Yeah.
more exciting for you to, you know, to be creative in that way and
Yeah.
learn
Well,
something
yeah.
different.
Yeah, because I in order to get prepared for it, I just watched a bunch of movies, a
Mhm.
bunch of like Train from Busan, um, what's Attack the Block,
Oh,
because that's contained to a building.
right.
And then I went Scream,
Hmm.
and then my niece and I sat and we looked at scripts, and I watched movies while I was reading the scripts
Yes.
to see how it was written, you
Yes.
know, and how to jump scare is to make it as intense as possible. So I did my homework. We did our homework before we actually sat down
Hmm.
and even started character breakdowns and all that.
Hmm. What was the biggest creative conversations that you had while writing or developing the story?
Just trying to make it as authentic as possible, but also trying to stay true to because my husband wanted he asked me for the zombie movie 10 years ago,
Oh,
but I
really?
wasn't screenwriting
Uh-huh.
at the time. He thinks he's a horror
Fanatic.
connoisseur, yeah, a zombie connoisseur. So he loves Night of the Living Dead. He loves that franchise.
Hmm.
So he wanted to make something like that
Hmm.
with Black people. And when he asked me, I wasn't writing films. I wasn't even writing plays. I just wrote the play. So the play was,
Okay.
and so I hadn't written any film. I'm like, I don't even know how to do that, you know?
Hmm.
And then when I got into Tressa's mentorship, he brought it back up. And now I was ready to write this film, but I was scared because it's a genre I don't know how to write. You know, I kind of like put myself in a box because I had never written that type of genre before. But once I started researching and everything and started writing it with my niece, we were like, oh, this is, you know, I love being able to get in here and get outside the box.
Hmm.
And when we started sending the script out, well, first we had a workshop and this just seeing the feedback that we got from people. And one of the words, like the majority of the census was intense,
Yeah.
that the movie was intense. And so that's what we wanted. It wasn't about being this big horror, you know, but it was about the intensity.
The impact. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and knowing that these people were fighting to stay alive, but also the messaging in the movie about resilience,
Hmm.
you know, and love
Right.
and someone being able to overcome grief,
Right.
you know, and start a new life because she was holding on to her husband.
Hmm.
Even after death, he's been dead for 5 years, and she still was whole. She wasn't allowing herself to have a relationship with another man because she was still holding on to her dead husband.
Right. Yeah, and it's also telling from our perspective, our point of view.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah,
we don't really get a lot of those films, especially zombie, a zombie horror, horror comedy.
yeah,
You know, so
yeah.
to be able to showcase that from a different perspective, and maybe some of the writing might have felt a little unconventional because it was outside of your norm of writing. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Um,
A little, but I mean, it's really still the same,
okay,
you know, writing style, and it's because you're still writing about people.
yeah.
It's just now adding that element of scare, the element of intensity that I wouldn't put in a rom-com
Mhm.
to it. One of the funny things is that I put a post up on my page because another page had picked up stating that we killed all the white people in 9 minutes, the first 9 minutes of the film. And I was like, and it's funny because Mr. Elmo has said it. He
Yeah.
said that his people, was saying, "Oh, they killed all the white people." You know what I mean? And I said,
Listen, sometimes it happens, and you know how many movies where we die first?
"Yes, yes." And so, but when he said it, I laughed it off because I was like, "Oh, he did not." But I was watching it again,
Mhm,
and I noticed, like, and we did kill a lot of white people. So I said, "Wait a minute." So I made a video and I posted it to answer that post.
uh-huh.
And I showed where we did kill a lot of white people. And I said, "Oh my God, this is so funny. We did," but I didn't. I when we were writing it, and well, in the writing, it didn't never said Caucasian. It just said neighbor,
Mhm,
right?
mhm,
But when we're now doing stunts, because the people were getting killed, we need to stunt people,
mhm.
and we just happened to have a lot of Caucasian people, so we had to kill them.
It
So it was just
it wasn't intentional, it just happened.
it wasn't intentional. It just happened,
Yeah,
but it made for good TV.
mhm,
So
yeah. Sometimes the shoe needs to be on the other foot, you know?
yeah, and it was.
Right. Um, so, you collaborated with Rob Bass?
Who's my husband?
Oh, okay. I didn't
I'm sorry.
I didn't
Yes,
put 2 and 2 together. I'm sorry about that.
it takes two. It takes two.
Okay, wow, wow, okay, okay, well,
And so he is the zombie connoisseur
right,
who
okay,
thinks he's a zombie connoisseur.
I
Connoisseur,
got it
yes,
now,
it's
I
him.
got it, yeah, okay. Wow, okay, so now I'm connecting. Got it. Um, let me see. Did you have any challenging moments, um, while filming this? Anything that was considered a roadblock or a hurdle that you had to get past that you weren't expecting to encounter?
Well, first, the location situation,
Right.
that was something I'm not gonna say I didn't expect because it happens, but a
Mhm.
week before, I was like, "Oh my goodness," because of the heat and everything. We're talking about August in Atlanta.
Oh.
You cannot shoot someplace in August with no air conditioning. And they were telling me, "Oh, it's another room. We're gonna put fans." I'm like, "We can't do that.
Mhm,
We'll never get done if we have to keep turning the fans off." And I don't want to make my talent miserable. So that was one of the problems. Another problem was just um, personalities is always a thing,
mhm,
you know, and I found that people that I worked with that worked with me as a casting director or, production coordinator or whatever,
mhm,
now I'm in a different space and now I'm a boss, I'm an executive producer. I felt like it just, they didn't really, you know, see me in that role. And I say that to say that the energy and how we worked with each other, the respect level wasn't there because I guess they were looking at me as, "Oh, it's just Lynette, the who I've worked with before, and not this is Lynette who is paying for this. This is her money.
right,
This is her, project, and she's our boss. She's writing our check."
mhm,
You know what I mean? So I found that was a big deal because I wanted to work with people that I've worked with, before,
mhm,
you know. So I found that to be a little challenge at times. We got through it, but it was just like just going through it. It was troublesome to me because I expected, you expect people to be, once you're doing something big like this, to be just if they're going to be on board, to be like really happy for you and like, I'm going to be, do what you need me to do, boss. Put me in, boss.
It's not always like that, no.
No, it's not. It's
They're
not.
never gonna push as hard as you push because it's not they're helping facilitate your dream and your vision. It's not theirs. So, that's one thing that I've learned over the years is that no matter how passionate you are about something, your level of passion is not going to be the same level of passion that the next person is going to have. They might be excited for you, willing to work with you, and to bring it to life, but it wasn't theirs to begin with. You get what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
So you do have to push and motivate and encourage and all of those things, but yeah, yeah. It sometimes it's not
Hmm.
that easy. They're not always going to be on board as you are.
Can I say though, when I work on somebody's project, I am working just as hard as you
Right.
because
Because you want
I'm
it.
happy for it, and because I'm a team player. I'm happy for you,
Mhm.
and I know that God is not just a respecter of person. That what He did for you, He could do for me.
Yes.
You know.
Right.
So and also at the end of the day, I'm going to learn
Mm.
by being there and helping you to get there. And so, and I'm going to hope that when it's my turn, you're going to do the same for me, or there's going to be somebody like me that's going to come and say, "Hey, let me help you get to your space."
Right.
And not just on Urban Flesh Eaters. I mean, even when I was doing my play, like the mutinies I saw, like people getting together and
Yeah.
and causing problems, and I'm sitting here. I remember I was so broke. I told you I was broke, and I had asked the person who was my family member actually if they could wait and get paid when I got paid
Mhm.
that week because I really had no money, and they were like, "No."
Yeah.
Paid them, and I was sitting there like, how the hell come what, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, God made a way, but it hurt me to the core because this was my family.
But those are the situations that helps open your eyes, especially
Yeah,
early on, for you to see that this is how it's going to be, or this is some of the things that you're going to encounter along the way, uh,
yeah,
and to be prepared for it. You know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. I cried a lot, but in the end, I kept going. And there was many times I wanted to quit
Hmm.
because of the hurt, but I was like, I can't because I know what God has for me. I know what this is. I know what He told me. And because I love creating, I love what I do. So it's just getting up and dusting yourself off and making revisions, not only on paper, but in life
Hmm.
because a lot of the people that I was working with, I don't even I'm cool with them, but none of them work with me.
Hmm.
When I went to Tressa's summit, I went alone, and I'm usually a person as a Gemini that I need company.
Hmm.
Let's go, let's do this together. I'm always that person, but I was like, this is the journey I need to take on my own, and
Yes.
I went alone,
Yes.
and I know why now. I had to.
This is the journey for you.
Yes,
Yes. Hmm.
yes, and
Absolutely.
I know that, and so anytime something happens it hurts, but I know that everything ain't for everybody.
Right.
And my journey, everybody can't go on this journey with me. So it's okay.
Right. Yes. They'll pop up once you're successful and say, remember.
Oh, yeah. They remember when?
They will
Remember,
they'll pop
girl?
up. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's your journey, and you know what your journey has in store for you, or you know what you want out of your journey. And it's it's not it's not easy to convince people or for them to see your entire vision. They might be able to see
Yeah,
on the surface level, but they're not going to be able to see everything the way you see
right.
it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
And that's true.
well, let me ask you, what advice would you give the next wave of writers, directors, producers, especially young women,
Mm-hmm.
women of color that want to get into this space? What advice would you give them as they're, you know, embarking on their journey?
First, I would say make sure this is what you want to do.
Hmm.
Don't look at it as oh, it looks like it's fun because it is. You know what I mean? Don't look at the glitz of it, the red carpets of it, because to get to that point, you have to go through a lot to get there.
Right.
And if you are looking to be paid quickly, don't do it. If you're looking to just walk the red carpet, then don't do that. Just walk the red carpet. Just go and get somebody's, red carpet premiere and just walk the red carpet if you can get on it. But don't do it just because you think it's something cool to do.
Hmm.
Because although it is, it takes so much work. And I always feel like you gotta be anointed to do this job because it's an unpaid job sometimes. It's sweat equity.
Hmm.
It's you know what I mean. It's long, 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 long nights. Oh my goodness, on the set of um um I was a production coordinator. Wicked City season
Oh,
one.
Wicked City, yes.
How many? I think a 19-hour day.
Phew, man,
I was delirious afterwards.
I
Okay,
believe it.
so delirious and overnights and everything. So don't just know that this is not for the faint of hearts,
Hmm.
you know. And also, if you're going to do it, get the education behind you because you don't because what we put out people remember. So if you start putting out bad products, people will remember that,
Hmm.
you know. So you want to go and learn how to do this, get you a mentor.
Hmm.
I really believe in mentorship. Get you a mentor who can teach you the right way to do it. Don't try to skate to do it, escape past you know, A, B, C, and D, and just go straight to Z. Don't do that.
Hmm.
You know, take the steps.
Yeah.
And there's so many other things I could say, Kevin, but the one thing I'm going to say, the last thing I'm going to leave on is please don't use AI
Hmm.
to do your writing. Like I'm seeing a lot of people are trying to take the easy way out because they just want, because again, I want to make money.
Right.
Don't don't do that. If you're a creative person, create.
Hmm.
Use AI to help you with little things. Like if you want to outline something, don't have it do your beat sheet, you know, but if you just need help with a little like with a script that I was just writing, I needed to speak as a is it Gen X? What am I? Gen Z?
Yeah.
I think it was Gen X.
Uh-huh.
And I'm a 20-year-old in my house. Like, so he was telling me some things, but I needed to be authentic. So I went and I was like, how would a Gen X say this?
Hmm.
And it told me. And that's what I used it for.
Right.
You know, then I went and wrote the dialogue.
Hmm.
But I'm just seeing so many people run into it and it's gonna take I'm sorry, it's gonna take our jobs. And
Do,
we're gonna be sitting here, huh?
I'm not sure if it's going to necessarily take our jobs, but it's definitely going to put a damper on our job, and the amount of the role that we take within the job. But there's still something there that is not human, that the human experience that ChatGPT or whatever AI that you choose to use cannot give you. It can't give you the emotion. It can't. It's just like, even when we're watching a movie and we're watching, it might be a story about a robot. That robot is just very straightforward and bland, and there's no emotion behind his face, or that's what ChatGPT and other AI models are giving you right now. And with what we're trying to do with writing stories and all that, we still can provide the human element that they cannot.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
I
know.
agree
So I don't know if
totally.
it'll necessarily
Mm-hmm.
take our jobs. It might hinder us a little bit, but I think, to your point, if you use it in the right way and use it as a tool, then it can help benefit. Because if you don't have the help that, or you can't afford the help that, that can help you or aid you and guide you. You know.
Yeah. Well, let me just say this and why I say take out, and maybe I'm going a little crazy because that's
No, no.
Gemini me, right?
A lot of people believe
But
it. A lot of people
yeah,
believe
the reason I say it is because it's a lot of it's the easy way out and it's easier to have it do it. And now you don't have to pay somebody
it. Hmm.
the money that you would pay like a WGA writer or even just independent writer to now write your film,
Hmm.
you know. Um, so it takes away that benefit. I'm just looking at now we have AI, they doing AI movies,
Yeah.
right? So taking actor job and making these AI superheroes, or, you know,
Right.
and I'm like, and then a girl who has an AI singer.
Yeah, I saw that. Yes. That is crazy.
But that's what I'm saying. So when people find that it's easy, all I gotta do to go, because we already know ChatGPT AIs, you put the prompt in, you got a whole script in
Right.
a matter of seconds.
Yeah.
You know, you can do it in a matter of seconds. And it's like, then why do I pay you?
Hmm.
And I understand, but I'm just saying a lot of people are going to start doing that and producing these movies because it's cheaper to do it that way.
Hmm.
So yes, there'll still be a space for us. I just feel like as independent filmmakers, we're already trying to carve out this space and get out of this box. And now we have another hurdle
Hmm.
in front of us. You know what I mean? And I don't know how long. the TUBIs are going to keep allowing us at the table and stuff.
Mhm.
And, all these other platforms are going to be allowing us tables, a seat at the
Mhm.
table, before they boot us out. And now it's becoming, we are now trying to find a home
Right. Yeah.
for our films.
Hmm.
So that's why I'm like worried about it. And I'm like, I think we have to resist, because when I think of Terminator
Yeah.
and Skydance, I think, and now the company that's buying all up these CBS and all that is
Yep.
Sky something something Sky.
Hmm. Yes.
Look,
Mm. Yeah.
look at
Yeah. It's a
I
monopoly.
imitated like.
Right. Yeah.
And I just feel like for us as African American filmmakers and stuff, or creatives, there's not enough opportunity for us as it is.
Hmm.
We are trying to carve out these spaces, and we're doing really well at it.
Hmm.
But also, not only are we fighting, the people at the table, but we're fighting each other with trying to block and trying to push away, and not be and being gatekeepers, and not wanting to help each other out,
Right.
or just, um how hard is it to share the person that you are friends with, you know product not production, film?
Right.
How hard is it to go and watch it, and especially if it's on Tubi, which is free.
Yeah. It's easy.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's easy. And you find that, and they say it all the time, the people that are supporting you is not always the people that are your friends and that you thought were going to support.
Right.
It's strangers.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah, because they don't have any of that, they don't know you. They just see the project, it looks interesting. I want to check it out. Boom, press play. Whereas,
Hmm.
it's somebody that well, what is it about? Who's in it? They have all the questions in the world instead of just pressing play and giving it a chance.
Give it a chance. Just give it 10 minutes. If 10 minutes you're not into it, then you can turn it off. But 10 minutes grabs you, keep watching.
Right, exactly.
And then share and say, hey, my friend did this film.
Yeah.
I liked it. Go watch it. You know. It's hard out here for us independent filmmakers. But that's why I say, when I go back to rule number one, which I said, you gotta love it,
Right.
because it's gonna take time to build
Yes.
this house. And there's gonna be a bunch of times it's gonna fall,
Hmm.
but you gotta keep building. And if you don't like it, or if you don't love it, you will not make it.
Right.
So, because of all these things that's out there to push you back and say you're not gonna make it. So
Very
I would just tell people, just if you want to do it, do it. Just like Nike said, do it.
right.
And just understand that you are going to be out there with a little shovel digging the sand in the beginning, digging yourself out of the hole, in the beginning,
Right. Little
and
by
then
little, little by
little
little.
by little by little.
Yeah.
But it works, it happens. I feel like there's so much space for everybody to win.
Hmm.
And I think if we all came together and just really celebrated one another, that we already know we would be phenomenal.
Yes.
And having our own big tables to feast on.
Absolutely. And that's
Hmm.
part of the reason when Tressa reached out and introduced you to me, and we spoke, I said, well, let's just go ahead and do the interview. Why not? You know?
I appreciate it. You don't even understand, because it's been hard out here trying to get interviews and stuff and getting just eyeballs on the project, because
Mhm.
people, it just doesn't always happen.
Right.
So I appreciated you saying yes and saying let's go. That's why I was like, let's go.
Right. Let's go. Well, Lynette,
Appreciate it.
it's definitely been a pleasure speaking with you. I truly appreciate you taking the time, sharing a part of your journey, your career, as well as some of the projects that you've worked on. And if there's anything that I can do in the future to help, by all means, please let me know. You're now part of the Black Script family.
Ah,
Yeah. So when you have up and coming projects, you can always circle back and let me know about them, and I'll make sure that the people know about them. So with,
I appreciate that, Kevin.
yeah, absolutely.
I
So
do.
with that, it's Lynette J. Blackwell, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate it.